Good evening. Can I request everybody to be on mute? All right. Everybody is able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today what we are doing is first of all, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Ishani, and I'm one of the directors at Ivy Professional School. Also, I train a lot of people. I've trained a lot of people in terms of retail and corporate batches in for past 15 years. So trained more than 1,000, 2,000 people over here. What my specialty is working with Excel and working on the BI tools like Power BI and Tableau. So now that we are in this world of AI and everybody is talking about products like GPT, where and people are talking about the AI uh, coming into our lives in big time, websites which are helping us to do our work faster. So this month's agenda for IB of Bootcamp is AI in data science. Since I work with Power BI, I thought it's going to be a good exercise to talk about the AI visuals of Power BI. Does anybody know what are the AI visuals in Power BI? Visuals fall under the category of AI? No? So we have four important visuals that are categorized as AI visuals in Power BI. And one by one, we will look at it, why it is important, how does it help us in our work, and then I'll work with the data set and I'll share the data set with you in which we'll do small understanding of that AI visuals. So the data set is this one. Let me quickly share it with you guys. I'm sending it to you in the chat window. It's in a drive, so I would request you to open it and then download it as a file and let me know once you're done. And meantime, we can also start opening the Power BI desktop. So it's going to be theory, obviously, to make you understand each and every visual, why we need it. Along with that, we are going to do hands-on and see the effect of a visual on the data that we have. Yes, you need Power BI for this session. If you don't have, that's fine. You can just learn by looking at our work right now, but I would strongly suggest that Power BI desktop is anyways for free. So after this session also you can do this. You will get the video for the session. After the session, you download Power BI desktop and try to work with the data set. So I would request you to download the data set with you. Later on, once you have the software, then you can go ahead and practice it. So what are the visuals that we are talking about? This screen that I have is a Power BI screen. I've already loaded the data and we'll talk about the data also a little bit. We are talking about how AI is helping us in getting insights from our business. So there are certain things, for example, or typically or traditionally, what we have been doing is that we create a chart and an analyst is sitting looking at the chart and finding out the insight from the chart. So it is too much dependent on who the analyst is, what is his experience, whether he's able to see the depth in the data or not. Some of the data sets that we get is so complicated, so complex. To understand the dependency of one variable on another variable becomes very difficult even if you're doing dashboarding. So all these kind of things which were a little complex for us or a little more human and experience dependent, now we have these AI visuals in Power BI which can help us to reduce our work and arrive at a better insight, get a better outcome with little effort. So in Power BI, the main screen, you will see there's something called Visual Gallery, right? Under the Visual Gallery, there are four main AI visuals. One is called the key influencers, decomposition tree, Q&A, and the smart narratives. So today, what is the agenda? The agenda is to talk about all four of them. But before we get into it, for the people who are opening Power BI for the first time, when you open Power BI, you are going to start off with a basic screen which shows the projects that if you have already done, what are the projects. In the middle, it will give you something to do with the collaboration, but you really don't have to do any collaboration as of now. This is required when you want to publish your work and share it with others, but we are not doing that in today's session, so we don't need to get started or collaborate. So you need to click on something called Get Data. So BI tools are not storing the data, they connect with the data. And then they are using that to find the insights, right? So everyone is going to open, click on the Get Data part. Mm, my Power BI is getting stuck. Power BI takes a lot of RAM space, so it would be a good idea to close unnecessary things in the background. So that's what I'm doing over here. Not going to have anything which is unnecessary. So once again, I click on New, and the first thing it should do is get data. You click on Get Data. Okay, so we click on Get Data, and it should open a window for you where it will show all the different type of connections that are available with Power BI. Foshi, should I load all of them? Are we loading data from the local device? Yes, we are loading the data from the local device over here, and the data set I've already set. Should I load all of them? Not required. Not required. And what you're going to do is, in this first place, it shows up what are the various sources of data with which Power BI can work. Pretty much captures all the different possibilities that we have. It has servers, it has static files, local files, it's got folders, JSONs. It's with the Azure cloud platform, it can do it from some online services like Google Analytics. You can connect and get the data and start working. And the newest thing that Microsoft is trying to bring is Microsoft Fabric. It kind of has a preview over here for that as well. So the data set that I have sent to you is, what is the type of data I've sent to you? Anyone? What have I sent to you guys? Which type of file is it? It's an Excel file, right? So what you're going to do over here is you are going to click on Excel workbook and then go and connect with your data. So I'm going to go ahead, camera sales. This data set is about camera sales, different kind of buyers, different countries, different type of data are there. And we will simply connect it and open it over here. The first thing that you will see in Power BI when you connect a data source is it's trying to show us, since this is an Excel workbook, it has multiple sheets. So it is asking which sheet do we want. Our main data is kept in camera company, the third sheet. Once you select on the right hand side, what you're able to see is the preview of the data, how Power BI is reading it. So far, so good. We connected to Excel file. In the Excel file, we have 4 sheets. We want to work only on one sheet. So once we click on it, we are able to see the preview of it on the right hand side. So far, so good, guys. right? Now, once you have this data, the very first thing we should always be doing on a data set is understand whether Power BI has have taken the proper data types and whether there is some cleaning required or if there is any transformation required. So for our work today, for our class today, we really don't need to do any kind of cleaning in this data set. There's already a clean data set. So we will simply go skip the step of Power Query and go to load. Okay. Once you're loaded, then the data is ready for us to work on. Let me know once you've loaded the data set. Thank you, Chandrakant. So let's quickly look at the data also so that you understand what these tools are doing or what these visuals are doing for us. So we have this camera company sales data set. Over here, we have the sales data set of the year 2021. So 1 year's data and all the data from Jan all the way to December. So 12 months data. There are various buyer types like corporation, institutions, mini markets, reseller, and supermarket. So these five are the main buyer types of the product of the camera. We operate in multiple countries like France, Germany, Greece, Italy, and UK. So that's the main focus in terms of sales. And we have about 6 different camera models that we are trying to sell, anywhere from camera 1 to camera 6. Now, like any business that we run, there are certain discount schemes that we have to give. Since this is not like it's not like a store where the 6 cameras are kept and customer is coming and picking one camera. We are talking about bigger clients. We are talking about corporations. We are talking about institutions who are buying this product. So we will also have an effect of something called discount band. So we may not have a discount, none. We may have a low discount band, we may have medium, or we would have a higher discount band. So each and every sales that has been made is falling into one of the discount band as low, medium, or high, or none. Under that, we have how many units were sold, what is the unit price, what is the total sales price, what is the gross sales. So this gross sales is coming from where? Units sold into the sales price. That is giving me the gross sales. Then we have the discount number, how much discount was given on the overall invoice. And based on the discount, what is my net sales? Once you've got the net sales, I know the unit price and the quantity, so I can also calculate my cost and profit. Clear? Is the data clear? If the data is not clear, is Power BI used for better visuals? Power BI is used for better visuals for complex tables, which kind of becomes a little difficult in Excel. And I personally feel creating or working with models is much easier in Power BI than any other BI tool. All right. So this is clear. Anybody has any question on the data set? No questions? Okay. So the very first, all good. Okay. So the very first BI that we are going to talk about is called key influencer. Now, what is key influencer? We have a lot of metrics in our business. For example, we have profit, we have sales, we have units sold, we have things like success, not successful. We may have things like completed, not completed. So what key influencer helps us to understand is, for a matrix to work, what are the variables which contribute towards it? A simple example, if I say I want to increase the profit, now to improve the profit or for the profit to increase, what are the main variables that need to be met in order to increase it? So these kind of complex studies that are going on, what is going on in the back end of your Power BI, statistical models are running for you on the data that you're providing, and based on that, our outcomes are coming. So, when I was taking one of the corporate trainings and I, spoke about the key influencer and decomposition tree to that, client of ours, you wouldn't believe he said, I wish I knew this earlier because it would have saved me 1 month of my time. So what key influencer did for us for it within 5 minutes, the guy had spent 1 month on it. So this is how powerful these visuals are. So what happens under key influencer, why it is important? It identifies the significant drivers. Like I was saying, I want to increase my profit. So to increase my profit, what are the drivers that have to be taken care of in order to meet my outcome? So it helps us to identify significant drivers, reveal the connection between variables. So if I'm saying if I'm going to increase the cost, if I'm going to increase the sales price by let's say 5%, that results in 20% increases my profit. So that kind of connection in the variables is understood using key influencer. So it helps us to make decision and optimize our process. So examples are, for example, in retail, we are trying to figure out in order to do a good promotion, ultimately resulting in more profit, what are the driving factors of the sales? In case of healthcare, for my patient to have a positive outcome, what are the factors that is driving it? Is it a age? Is it a ethnicity? Is it the stage where it was caught? Is it a gender? So what is the driver which is working in the favor of a positive outcome? Is it clear why we need key influencer? See, whenever you're learning anything, any tool, any topic, it's very, very important for us to understand that when and why we will use a certain thing. Because if we don't know that, then it will become difficult to remember when to use it, right? So this is used to find who are the drivers. What is going to help me to get the outcome I want. So let's try to do it in Power BI. So in Power BI, once you've loaded, on the right hand side, you can see the entire data set is kept. Whatever data you had given is kept over here. So if I want to create a visual in Power BI, we will go to Visual Gallery on the top under Home tab. Then we scroll down. And over here, we have the AI visual. We'll start with the first one, which is key influencer. So once we drop it, let's see one thing. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. All right. Okay. So I've already done one on this data. So I wanted to understand what influences the profit to increase. So what influences the profit to increase? It's giving me the output. If the discount is more than 33,000, then the average profit increases by about 42,000. And if the unit sold is more than 547 units, then my profit is going to be increasing by, average profit increases by about 22,000. Right? So how do we get this thing? So once I click on the visual, what it will ask you to do it when you click on this particular symbol on the right side, which says build a visual. Over here, you have to drop the fields for analyze, explain by, and expand by. So analyze is what? Analyzes the outcome for which you are trying to find the drivers. So in my case, I had taken the outcome as profit. So once I drop profit and analyze, automatically it has become over here what influences profit to increase, or I can do a reverse thing. I could have also said what influences the profit to decrease, right? So first thing is analyze. What are you trying to analyze? Is it like a success of a particular project, like yes or no? Are you trying to analyze things like what drives the profit, what will drive the sale? And then we drop in explain by any field by which we want to see whether it has an effect or not. So it's not necessary in the beginning, you guys will know exactly these fields are going to have an effect on it. So in my opinion, if anything does not, if the data is good and there's no column which is little, going to have an outlier data, then try to put all possible columns over here. So I'll put discount band. I will put the discount type. I will put the price, unit price. I want to put the unit cost. Anything else you can think of? And I can't have a sum of discount in units and all those things. So I'm just going to make it an average. Anything else you can think of in this data that you think will, kind of affect the profit, help in increase or decrease in the profit? I think if I reduce the cost, I increase the profit. If I increase the price, I increase my profit. And discount also has a lot to do on the profit. So that's the reason I've picked these values over here. Units sold, absolutely correct. Units sold. If I'm selling more units, is that giving me more profit or what's going on? Again, I would do an average on top of it. Once we do this, let's see, it's running analysis on top. And it says what influences profit to increase if I have a discount type of more than 33,000 and the cost, average of the cost goes up by a certain amount. Okay, then only I can see this. So cost and the discount type is the main driver. Even though price is there, even though the discount band is there, but these have no effect on the increase in the profit. Is this part clear? And if I would have said decrease, it will just give me right opposite of what happened over here. Average discount type, if it's between this range, then it will decrease about 39,000. If the cost goes down, it will decrease. If the discount type is this much, then it will decrease by this amount. So these are the drivers based on which my profit will decrease. Understood? So this is your key influencer. Now let's move on to, okay, before we move on, anybody who has Power BI can quickly try it. Try to create this key influencer. Akanksha, Ananya, Hitesh, Gautam, Jaya, Nikita, Nutan, Jayalakshmi, Satyajit. Can I please explain the chart once? Which chart? This, the key influencer part? So what is the key influencer? For example, let's say I want to understand whether a project will be successful or not, right? So I want to understand for a project to become successful, what are the factors on which it is dependent? It may be for a project to be successful, I need a certain seed amount for to invest in it. It may be that if I do it in a certain industry, then the project has more chances of getting successful. So what this is giving is for the profit to increase and how much also it's giving, but for the profit to increase, if I'm giving discount of 33,642, then the chances are more. And from where this number is coming, you will kind of get to know when I'm working with the others. visuals also. That why do you think giving more discount is going to give me more profit? I'll tell you because the data kind of indicates that to us. All right. Surya, is it clear? Okay. All right. Moving on, the next one, which is called the decomposition tree. So, as the name suggests, when you say tree, automatically, the branching comes in the mind of we'll start with one part, then we'll branch, keep on branching. So, what is the role of a decomposition tree? What it helps us to do is understand the matrix which are contributing to an element. So, if I say this X amount is my total sales. Now, this X amount is my total sales. Who is the main contributor of it? Like, is it that buyer is the one which is going to be more important for the total sales amount to be higher? Or is it dependent on the product or it is dependent on the discount band? So, which matrix is contributing to the element that is done by decomposition tree? So it helps us to uncover what drives the changes in selected matrix. It helps us to explore the complex relationships. Sometimes we might not create a direct relationship between variables. Doing this exercise helps us to be more open, put more thoughts into it, put more fields into it, uncovers hidden correlations and trends. Example could be, for example, customer segmentation. Now, I want to understand customer who's driving the sales of my business, what is more important? Is it the behavior is more important? The purchase history is more important. Where the person lives is more important. Ethnicity is more important. What is more important? So I can use a decomposition tree to get the customer segmentation. Then in case of marketing campaign, right? Effect of conversion rate, effects of clicks, effect of media engagement. What is the parameter based on which I'm getting success in my business? So if I say my total amount is this after running a particular campaign, what contribution goes to conversion rate versus social media engagement and so on and so forth. So that's what a decomposition tree looks like. Now let's see over here. So this is what a decomposition tree is. And what I've done over here is I've said, okay, let me understand how the sales is, what is affecting the sales, what metrics are important for the sales. So if you look over here, so net sales, what I did is I said, okay, let me see buyer type, discount band, country, product, which part of it is important. So it shows that institutions are the one which are giving me the highest sales. Okay, followed by mini marts. Now, corporation, supermarkets, resellers, especially resellers and supermarket is in the least. So, institutions and mini markets are giving me the most. Under institution, what is affecting is high discount band. So, if you now go back to key influencer where he said increase your discount band more than 33,000, then you will get a better profit. So kind of indicating similar thing that in institutions we give different, higher discount bands, and as a result of it, more sales results in more profitability. And in high discount band, which country has the highest? Italy, UK, Greece, France, and then Germany. In Italy, which camera is giving me more sales on a high discount band in institutions is camera number 3. So it kind of creates this entire story for us to understand. Now, how do you create it? So over here, again, we are going to go to the visual gallery. And at the bottom, we'll go and find the decomposition tree. We're going to move it down. And very similar to your key influencer, we have to tell what you want to analyze and explain by. So let's say we want to analyze the profit. And what do I want to analyze based on? I want to analyze based on the buyer. I want to analyze it based on the country. on based on the discount band. Anything else? What else did I put? Country, discount band, buyer type, and say that again.
Product.
Product, right? Very important. Product. So once you've dropped these fields, now how do we work with it? If I click on a plus sign, it's going to ask me whether you want to go with a high value or I want to bifurcate and see the profit based on country. So if I select country, it is showing me the France is giving me the highest profit, right? Or France is giving me the highest profit. In France, again, if I want to see which product, I can click here and it's telling me camera 3 is giving me the highest. And in camera 3, if I again want to do it based on the buyer type, then it is telling me in France, camera institutions is what is giving me more sales. Corporations in France, camera 3 is actually negative number. And I can, keep on going on over here with the discount band and so on and so forth. And at any point I want to understand France, camera 4 institutions, I am able to do that very, very conveniently. Is it clear? Yes, guys? Now, in this case, what you are doing is you are deciding what should be the next variable. But ideally, it should not be done like this. Okay. If I really want to see which factor is the most important, I would ideally go to this plus sign and click on high value. So when you click on high value, based on the factors that you've or the fields that you've given, like discount band, buyer type, product, country, what it will do is it will divide the profit for each table and then see among all the table which value has a highest profit contribution, and automatically that field comes first. So if I click on highest value, it is showing me buyer type has more importance on profit. Though on sales, which I've done over here, institutions have it, not so much. What did we get over here? Buyer type. And over here, so over here also buyer type is coming first, right? So buyer type, and then if I click over here, again I click on the high, it is telling me buyer type institutions, low, something is odd. What is odd? Oh, this is profits. Institution discount band low, higher discount bands are there, but I'm making more sales, but not really profit into it. Makes sense. And if I click on high once again, it's telling me the country. If I click on high once again, it's going to talk about the product. So product is not what is driving my profit. What is really driving my profits are the buyer types. And if I'm sticking to low bands, then I'm getting more profit from institutions than otherwise. Yeah, that was sales and this was profit. That's why it's coming a little different. So if I wanted to understand in corporation what's going on, since it's a negative number, so I can see over here low and none discount brackets were there, which were filled, but in high and medium in corporation, when I'm giving them high and medium profit, I'm actually doing a negative business or a loss in my business rather than a positive. So high bands in corporations, very bad idea. What should we stick to? We should stick with no or low discount bands over here. Make sense? Guys, yes, no, maybe? Clear? All right, can you just quickly try? So I like the high value part rather than me telling, okay, open this, open this, open this. But then I have used my judgment and not used my AI tools. So over here, we would really want the AI tools to be working in the back end, right? Nikita, Nutan, Nandini, Suvik, Tejas, All right. Next one is Q&A. This is a funny visual because before this visual came into picture and I used to train people, and sometimes I felt that the way people want to work on the tools is almost like how you talk to people, right? It's if I'm talking and saying, Poshumi, what is your, which country did the best, or which camera has the highest, profit to sales ratio. So it's like you're talking to human and the machines are able to understand it and give you an output. So that is the purpose of Q&A. So what it does, you ask a question for your data and it is able to answer that in form of a chart. Simple example over here in pure simple English, I'll write buyer type, let's say profit. So automatically what it has done, it has given me a bar chart showing the buyer type, what is the total profit. And over here, whatever changes we want to make, buyer type, uh, profit to sales ratio. So buyer type, profit to sales ratio. This is the gross sales. Okay. And in the same way, if I would have said monthly trend of sales. So what it did is converted my simple English request into a chart of Power BI. And another, any other questions you can think of? Comparison of camera 6 sales with other cameras. Mm, mm, compare sales of camera 6 with other cameras. Still not able to give this country-wise profit. Okay. I thought I'll do a little bit beyond it. So let's say profit to sales. Uh, Profit to net sales for what do you call products. So this is profit to net sales for various products. Okay. So if I had this Q&A, but I don't like the visual, then I can always go back and make it a column chart or a bar chart, whatever we find suitable. So in Q&A over here, I'd given to analyze net sales versus profit based on the buyer type. Very interesting output. So what we are doing over here, I had typed this question, which was net sales and profit based on the buyer type. So over here you will see, over here I have sales, over here I have profit. So institutions are higher sales and higher profits. Good for business. Mini markets are higher sales, but not so much of profit as compared to institutions. So institutions are giving me a lot of profit. Then followed by mini marts. And then we have resellers in the supermarket and the supermarkets. Over here, what is happening? Lower sales and lower profits we are getting. However, the interesting thing is corporations. Corporations, we have more sales as compared to supermarkets and resellers. However, our profits are negative. So probably whatever we are doing in terms of in terms of discount bands. Definitely in corporation we have to work on our discount bands, because even though the sales is there, we are not even making less profit, we are making negative, we are making loss in it. So this is something we should focus on. Institutions, higher sales means higher profit, so focus should be to increase the sales over there. Mini markets, we're getting the sales, but we're not getting equivalent amount of profit. So the focus of mini market should be sales is in place. How do you increase the profit? So we might want to analyze, okay, based on the discount band, which one to use, right? Can you guys quickly try it? I'll go get my charger very quickly. All right, let me know if you tried. Any questions you have? It's like, when before all this AI came, when I was teaching, sometimes I used to tell the candidates that, don't behave like the tools can understand you. They don't understand English. But nowadays, we can't say the same thing. A lot of tools have been created to understand our language and convert our language into outputs. So if I look at Q&A, user can type questions in plain language like you saw. What we get is generates visualization. AI interprets what we are saying. It's working with the text that we are using. And based on that technique, it's creating a visualization for us. It enhances the accessibility and ease of data analysis. So I don't really have to be a data analyst to know this thing. If I have a Q&A, I can type it in English. I'll get my visuals and output. Though you're not able to create a very complex output out of that Q&A, but I'm sure they would be working on the language part a little more. And in future, this component will be much more progress versus others. How to create insight? We can't have this interactive query function in Excel, right? There are a lot of AI add-ins that are there right now in order to make it very, very easier for end user. So in Excel, I've not tried a lot, but yes, there are certain add-ins of AI also in Excel. How to create an insight? You don't really create an insight, Shantanu. We kind of arrive at an insight, and that we are going to do in the next visual that we have. Add-ins are there online, a lot of add-ins, depending on what you are trying to do. And depending on whether it's free or it's paid. Planning to build an Excel dashboard on personal finance and budgeting. See, you will not get a AI plugin to create the dashboard for yourself. But yes, using AI, you can make your work a little easier. So let me, yeah, there are chart types. So if you want, I can quickly send this to you. Hmm, 1 second. Too many folders. The chart type cheat sheet. This will help you, Ajay. So if you go through this cheat sheet, it helps you to understand if I want to do this, which is the best chart possible for it. Anyone who's confused about which chart to use, this is a good cheat sheet. And this is Q&A is very good for non-technical users. And it bridges the gap between data and decision makers. Because a lot of people who understand data, but they really don't know how to use the tools and are the decision makers, for them, these AI tools are doing wonders. Now, this smart narrative is relatively newer AI visual in Power BI and is a extremely effective tool. Again, what they're doing is, I have seen in my whole experience of interacting with people, training people, teaching people, that a lot of people know how to create a chart. But creating a chart is not the end goal. From that chart, you need to drive an insight, give it to business to work on it, to take an action on it. Now, sometimes analysts are good in creating that story or the narrative. Sometimes analysts are not very good with it. So with this smart narrative, it kind of makes our life easier that once I've created my dashboard, now what is the story behind my dashboard? Right? So over there, smart narratives comes into play. What it does, it automates data storytelling through AI generated narratives. So it's going to tell a story. It's not just going to tell you that, okay, this is higher and this is lower, but it can talk about this is higher, this is lower, and this is the difference between them. If there is a trend that it can understand based on the data, it will talk about the trend in the narrative. So this is one of the very smart AI visual that has been put in Power BI, which helps us to do a little bit of data storytelling. And the narratives are just like how a human would write, exactly that way the narratives are given. And it talks about the patterns, it talks about the trends, it talks about the outliers that are there. Okay, let's see how it works. So what I had done is I've created few visuals over here. Very simple ones, net sales by country. Then I said, okay, let's talk about discount and net sales. Is increasing the discount increasing my sales? Yes or no, based on the different buyer types. And then I wanted to understand profit by date. So typically, again, if I think about a person who just started creating dashboard, the way a person would talk about is UK sale is the highest, Greece is the lowest. Then when you come over here, they will say there's a positive correlation between discount and sales. If you come over here, then they'll say, okay, this is the profit, this is where we started, this is where we ended, and this is the least profit we generated, right? Now, what I did, this thing that you see on the top, I'm not sure if it's visible. No, it should be. It's pure simple English, but the way it is written is very good. This is generated by that smart narrative. So the profit trended up, resulting in 148% between this date and this date. The profit started to trend from 1st of June. So it's not only talking about the difference from start and the end, but it's also talking about when it started. So in the 6 months, this is a change. It jumped from this number to this number, steepest inclined during this time. UK has a highest sum, which is 26.49% higher than the Greece, which is the lowest, right? Total percentage contribution of UK is 21%. Again, these things are not visible in my visual, but AI is kind of working in the back end and coming up with these numbers for us, right? Across all countries, some of net sales range from this to this. Canberra 3 has the highest sum of discounts and the sum of net sales. So how do you create this narrative? Very simple, hardly any effort into it. So once you've created all your visuals like I've created over here, once again, we'll go to visual gallery, scroll down. This is a smart narrative. Click over here, it'll work, and within seconds, it comes up with the entire narrative for you. Super impressive work, right? All this is all AI generated stuff. From where can we get creative ideas for visual dashboard? I would say, Ajay, the best way to get creative in this field of data visualization and storytelling is try to network with the right type of people in the industry. And be on like Power BI galleries there, Tableau galleries there, be on those things where people from all over the world are contributing to these websites, and really helps you to open up from, let's say, if you were thinking in X ABC, then you are able to actually think of more than that. right? So these are the four main AI visuals that are there in Power BI. And trust me, this software of Power BI and Tableau, they evolve at such a fast speed that I'm sure after 1 month or 2 months, they would come up with something more fantastic. They are continuously working to make it easier for the end user to use it, because nowadays we are moving towards no code or low code. Why? Because the end users of data have increased. The data has been accumulated and the end users are increased because the decision makers are no more working on intuitive things. They want a fact-based decisions, scientific decisions to be made. And a lot of time, we as an end user might not have the full knowledge. Like I don't have knowledge about statistics. I don't know regression. I don't know clustering. However, I'm able to use all these terminology of statistics in my work because of the AI that is already plugged in over here. So all the regression model, all the clustering model is running in the back end. And as a business user, I'm able to see the output and do the interpretation on business. So, there was when GPT came, Chat GPT came, there was a whole buzz of it's going to take away our jobs and it's so, difficult and how we'll survive. But think of Chat GPT as a team member with whom you can brainstorm your ideas. So something that would have taken 2 hours, 3 hours for Googling stuff, reading through a lot of things, watching YouTube, and then trying to figure out the solution. Now with ChatGPT, if you give the right prompts to the ChatGPT, you will get your answers very, very fast. So it's not going to replace us, and it's definitely not taking over our jobs, but yes, it's helping us, it's assisting us. It's like a brainstorming partner that we have. So, Ajay, like I was telling you, what I do a lot, and I would say that everybody should do, is kind of work with ChatGPT. I encourage everyone to work with ChatGPT. It has an effect of what you put as a prompt that makes a lot of impact. But for example, Ajay was talking about a dashboard that he's planning to build. Now, the biggest challenge that I see people having in creating a dashboard is that they really, really don't know what to put, what is a effective business objective. Very lengthy insights. Yes. So, Poshmi, what do you do when it gives lengthy insights to you? You tell it. It's like a conversation you have with the GPT, right? So you tell, make it shorter, make it in 5 bullet points, make it shorter to be put in a, you know, executive report, and it does that work for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
ma'am. After you told the Excel dashboards, I just copy pasted those lengthy insights and I just asked ChatGPT to do it in a 2, 3 points, and then it gave me 2, 3, 4 bullet points insights.
Exactly. In
This
fact,
is actually strong.
it depends on the prompt. If I put this thing and stop generating, and if I just tell convert these insights into impactful statements for executive report. Okay. So, profit growth analysis, right? Something that was written in a very casual manner in Power BI, it has given nice captions. So, if I have to show it to my end user, my CEO, I can't give those plain lines in my PPT and show the graphs along with it.
Yeah.
So, for example, this is a nice, caption it has created. UK's dominance in net sales. So,
Mhm.
I'm going to give this on the top on my PowerPoint presentation, supported with this over here, this graph. Then it makes sense what I'm reading on the top, what I'm looking at the bottom. It's all in sync. So use it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is
ma'am.
how it makes it effective. Like these kind of things, net sales landscape. You might, like, I definitely am sure I can't think of words like this to be put. UK dominance in net sales. No. Half of us, or I would say 90% of us would have written maximum sales UK, maximum net sale, or maximum net sales contributor UK.
Mhm.
So these kind of things is what creates a story, and what words we are using, how we are presenting the words to our CEOs, the decision makers.
Mhm.
have to be very, very impressive for them to, focus on it and take an action on it. Right?
Yeah.
So, Chat GPT is better than Bard and Bing. Um, yes, in my opinion, I've worked on Bard and Chat GPT. I still feel GPT is much more superior. This is more precise in giving the answers. Bard was more journalized talks, so it was almost like I was opening a Google article and reading it again. Over here, I get very concrete work done. I don't have the paid version, but with the paid version, you can do even more, where you can upload the file. It kind of does a whole analysis for you and gives to you. But remember this thing, this is just a team member who's helping you to brainstorm. Don't just copy the entire thing and paste it. So I hope you enjoyed today's session, something useful you're going to take away from it. Tomorrow, Prateek would be there taking the session, and he is going to talk more about this AI and something what we call as prompt engineering, like what Pashumi was talking about. How do you frame a question?
Yeah.
Is very important. And remember, these tools are almost like a conversation. So over here also, if I write, make it shorter, it will go ahead and make it even shorter than what it had written. So it's just you have to continuously work with the prompt and then make it understand how we want it. Condensed down to four main things. That's it. All right. So tomorrow's session is more on AI and the prompt, what kind of prompts to be given, which I think is very important. A lot of people use Google and they really don't know what to put in Google for a better search. So I would strongly advise everyone to attend tomorrow's session, and I'm sure you guys will have a very good takeaway from the session. Definitely, Ajay, we'll try to plan it on weekends. Weekends are busy for us, but definitely we'll try it. Nutan, yes, you get a certification once you've attended both the sessions of the bootcamp. All right. I hope it was worth you one while of 1 hour of your evening today, and hope to see you again soon in other boot camps. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye bye. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Same to you, ma'am.